The Wizard of Oz. Part 1. The Cyclone and the Munchkins. Dorothy lived on a farm in the great Kansas prairie. Everything around her was gray, the grass, the trees, and the small old farmhouse. Her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry were quiet, serious people, and Dorothy often felt that only her little black dog, Toto, kept her happy. One sunny afternoon, Uncle Henry looked anxiously at the sky. A strange whistling sound grew loud in the north. He knew instantly a cyclone was coming. "Em, the cellar!" he shouted. Aunt Em and Uncle Henry quickly ran to the cellar trapdoor. Dorothy, grabbing Toto tightly, was running to follow them when the wind hit the house with a mighty roar. The whole farmhouse shook violently, and Dorothy tumbled onto the floor. The house was lifted high into the air as easily as a feather. Spun and rocked like a boat on a rough sea, Dorothy felt very dizzy. She knew she was flying somewhere far, far away, but she was too tired and scared to move. Finally, she closed her eyes and fell fast asleep. Arrival in the land of the Munchkins. When Dorothy woke, the house was silent and completely still. She leapt up, heart pounding, and opened the door. She gasped in wonder. The gray world was gone. The sky was brilliant blue, the grass was a dazzling emerald green, and gorgeous flowers bloomed everywhere. She was in a strange new country. Suddenly, a group of very small men approached her. They wore bright blue hats that came to a point. They were Munchkins, and they were bowing to her. With them was an old woman who wore a star-covered white gown and looked kind. This was the Good Witch of the North. "Welcome to the land of the Munchkins, great sorceress," the witch said. "You have done us a service that can never be repaid." Dorothy looked confused. "I am not a sorceress," she said. "I am Dorothy, and I just want to go home to Kansas." The witch pointed to the house. Under the great wooden walls were 2 silver shoes and a pair of stockinged legs. "You killed the Wicked Witch of the East," the Good Witch explained. "She kept the Munchkins enslaved. Now they are free." Dorothy felt terrible that she had killed someone, even a wicked witch. The Good Witch told her the powerful silver shoes now belonged to her. Dorothy asked how to get home, but the witch did not know. The only person who might know is the great and terrible Wizard of Oz. You must walk to the Emerald City and ask him. So Dorothy, wearing the magical silver shoes, began her long walk on the shining yellow brick road, eager only to find the wizard and go home. Part 2. Meeting the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Cowardly Lion. Dorothy, wearing the magical silver shoes and holding Toto, began her long walk on the shining yellow brick road, eager only to find the wizard and go home. She had not walked far before she came upon a tall pole in a cornfield by the side of the road. Hanging on the pole was a scarecrow, stuffed with straw and dressed in old clothes, meant to frighten crows away. As Dorothy and Toto approached, the scarecrow surprisingly nodded his head at her. "Good day," he muttered. "Did you speak?" asked Dorothy in astonishment. "I did," said the scarecrow. "Can you help me down? I am tired of standing here all night and all day." Dorothy quickly took him off the pole. The scarecrow immediately joined her journey, explaining that because he was only made of straw and had no brain, he felt he must be stupid, and he needed the great Wizard of Oz to give him one. Dorothy, with Toto and the scarecrow, walked happily down the bright yellow brick road. The fields around them were green and beautiful. The scarecrow felt heavy because he had no brain, but he was cheerful. Soon they came to a large forest. The trees were so tall that the sunlight could not reach the ground. The road was rough and hard to follow. Suddenly, Dorothy saw a strange sight. Standing perfectly still next to a tree was a man made entirely of tin. He held an axe high above his head, but he did not move. "Did you hear a groan?" asked the Scarecrow. Dorothy stepped closer. The Tin Man's joints were covered in rust. She realized he was crying because there were tracks of rust under his eyes. "Oh, please help me," the Tin Man whispered. "I have been stuck here for a whole year. My joints are frozen." Dorothy found a small oil can in her basket. Carefully, she oiled his neck, his arms, and his legs. The Tin Man moved. He put down his axe and danced with joy. He explained that he needed a heart because he was once a real man. He wanted to feel love again. "Then come with us," cried Dorothy. "We will ask the Great Oz to give you a heart." The three friends continued walking deep into the forest. They had not gone far when a terrifying roar echoed between the trees. A huge yellow lion leapt into the road. He swung a large paw and knocked the Scarecrow over. Then he hit the Tin Woodman, leaving a small dent in his armor. Toto barked bravely, but the lion snapped his great teeth at the little dog. Dorothy ran forward and slapped the lion hard on his nose. "Don't you dare hurt my dog," she cried. "You are a big bully." The lion stepped back, surprised. He sat down and began to cry. "I know," he moaned. "I am a cowardly lion. I am afraid of everything, even tiny mice." Dorothy felt sorry for him. "If you are a cowardly lion, then you need the wizard too," she said. "I do," the lion admitted. "I need the wizard to give me courage." So the four friends, Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Cowardly Lion, all continued their walk together, united by their hopes for the Great Oz. Part 3. Through the Dark Forest. The four friends, Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Cowardly Lion, continued their journey along the yellow brick road. The forest around them grew denser and darker. It was quiet and gloomy, and the tall trees blocked the sun, making them fearful of what might be hiding in the shadows. "This forest is terrible," the lion whispered, his tail tucked between his legs. "They say the Kaladas live here, monsters with the head of a tiger and the body of a bear." The others tried to appear brave, but even the Tin Woodman felt a shiver, although he had no heart to feel fear with. The road soon led them to a terrifying sight, a huge canyon with a raging river far below. There was no bridge. The only way across was a single, rotting log. "I cannot walk across that," Dorothy cried. The Scarecrow, though he had no brain, had an idea. "The lion is the strongest of us all," he said. "If he carries us on his back, he can jump across the canyon." The lion looked terrified. "I am a coward. I can't jump that far." "But you must," the Tin Woodman insisted. "You must try to show courage for your friends." The lion knew they were right. Taking a huge, deep breath, he allowed Dorothy and Toto to climb onto his back. He ran and leapt across the great, dark space. They landed safely on the other side. The attack of the Kaladas. Next, the lion carried the Tin Woodman and then the Scarecrow. They had only just caught their breath when they heard a terrible, savage roar. Two enormous Kaladas charged toward them. "Run!" screamed the lion, and they all ran back toward the edge of the canyon. "We must stop them," the Tin Woodman shouted. Using his sharp axe, the Tin Woodman chopped down a tall, thick tree. The tree fell with a loud crash, forming a temporary bridge across the canyon. The four friends raced across it. Just as the fierce Kaladas started to cross, the Tin Woodman chopped the log again, and the tree tumbled into the dark chasm below, carrying the monsters with it. The danger was over. The lion realized that even though he felt fear, he had acted bravely to save his friends. The scarecrow's cleverness and the Tin Woodman's skill had saved them all. Their bond was becoming stronger than ever. Part 4. Arrival at the Emerald City. After their terrifying escape from the Kaladas, the four friends continued their march. Soon they noticed a bright green glow in the distant sky. The yellow brick road was becoming smoother, and the forest was thinning. "Look!" cried Dorothy. "That must be the Emerald City." As they walked closer, the green light became stronger and more dazzling. The friends were astonished by the sight. The walls of the city sparkled with thousands of gems, and the houses were painted a brilliant emerald color. They approached the huge green gate, which was guarded by a little man dressed entirely in green, from his pointed hat to his polished boots. This man was the guardian of the gates. "Why have you come to the city of Oz?" the guardian asked. Dorothy explained their purpose. "We have come to see the great and terrible Wizard of Oz." The guardian looked impressed. "No one has asked to see Oz for many years. You must be very brave. But first, you must wear the green spectacles." He led them into a small room. There, he produced a box filled with green spectacles, glasses. He fastened a pair tightly onto each of them, even the scarecrow and the lion, using a lock. "The wizard commands this," the guardian explained. "Everyone who enters the city must wear spectacles. If you did not, the brightness and the glory of the Emerald City would blind you." The guardian unlocked the huge gate, and they all walked into the city. The sight was truly magnificent. The streets were paved with smooth green marble. The houses were green, the citizens wore green clothing, and even the dogs and cats wore tiny green ribbons. They were escorted to the wizard's enormous palace. The palace was even grander than the city, with towering green halls and floors paved with emeralds. A pretty green girl, who served as the wizard's attendant, led them to a room and told them to wait. "You will see the great Oz," she said, "but he will only see one of you each day, and he will only appear in a shape that pleases him." The friends were excited and a little scared. Would the great Oz grant their wishes for a brain, a heart, courage, and a way home? Part 5. The Terrible Task. The friends were terrified to meet the great Oz. He would only see them one by one, and he chose a different form for each meeting. First, Dorothy was led into a vast round room. On a great green throne sat only an enormous floating head without a body. The head's eyes were stern and glowing. "Who are you, and why do you disturb me?" the head boomed. Dorothy shivered but bravely stated her wish to go home. The head told her, "I will grant your wish on one condition. You must destroy the Wicked Witch of the West." Next, the scarecrow saw a lovely feathered lady. The Tin Woodman saw a fierce beast with 5 eyes. The cowardly lion saw a ball of fire resting on a chair. To each of them, Oz gave the same command: "Prove your courage and worth by killing the Wicked Witch of the West. Only then will I give you a brain, a heart, and courage." The friends were horrified. They had risked everything to reach the Emerald City, and now they were sent into greater danger. The Wicked Witch of the West was known to be the most evil and cruel creature in the land. "We cannot do it," the lion moaned. "But if we do not try," said Dorothy, "we will never get our wishes." The wizard had sent them to the land of the Winkies, a country guarded by the witch. They set out with heavy hearts. The road was rough, and the witch's country was ugly and barren, the opposite of the beautiful land of the Munchkins. The Wicked Witch saw them coming from her castle window. She had only one eye, but it could see things that were far away. She was furious that they dared to enter her kingdom. First, she sent a pack of fierce wolves to attack them. The Tin Woodman bravely used his axe and chopped off the wolves' heads, saving his friends. Next, she sent a huge flock of crows to peck out their eyes. A scarecrow, who could not feel the pecks, grabbed the crows and twisted their necks, defeating them. The witch was enraged. She had one final powerful magic left, the power of the winged monkeys. She put on her golden cap and whispered the terrible command. Soon the sky was filled with chattering, powerful monkeys who flew down to capture the heroes and carry them back to the witch's terrible castle. Part 6. Defeat and Discovery. The winged monkeys swooped down and easily captured the companions. They tore the straw out of the scarecrow and scattered it across the trees. They carried the Tin Woodman high into the air and dropped him onto sharp rocks, leaving him dented and motionless. They flew the Cowardly Lion to the witch's castle and caged him like a beast. Dorothy and Toto were carried right into the courtyard of the Wicked Witch of the West. The witch was delighted to see the magic silver shoes on Dorothy's feet. She knew their true power, and she wanted them. The witch forced Dorothy to work as her servant. The witch was afraid of water, but Dorothy didn't know this secret. One day, the witch stole one of Dorothy's silver shoes. Dorothy became furious. "Give back my shoe," Dorothy cried. The witch laughed a cruel laugh. Dorothy was so angry that she grabbed a bucket of dirty water standing nearby and threw it directly at the witch. The water splashed the witch's face and clothes. The witch screamed, not from pain, but from fear. "I am melting!" she shrieked. "Oh, look what you have done!" The witch shrank and melted right before Dorothy's eyes, until nothing was left but a puddle of brown goo and her clothes. The great reveal. Dorothy quickly freed the Cowardly Lion and found the Tin Woodman and the Scarecrow. The Munchkins restuffed the Scarecrow, and the Tin Woodman was carefully oiled until he was able to move again. The four friends returned to the Emerald City. They told the Guardian that they had completed the terrible task. They demanded to see the Great Oz. Oz was reluctant, but finally he allowed them into his throne room. This time, the friends saw no floating head, no fiery ball, only a little, round, old man with a bald head and a wrinkled face. He was weeping. "Who are you?" Dorothy asked. "And where is the Great Oz?" The little man explained. "I am Oz. I am a humbug, a fake. I am from Omaha, America. I was a balloonist in a circus. My balloon flew away and landed here many years ago. The people thought I was a great wizard, so I built this beautiful city and used clever tricks to make the people believe in me." The friends were heartbroken. The humbug could not give the Scarecrow a brain, the Tin Woodman a heart, or the Lion courage. Part 7. The Gifts and the Way Home. The friends were heartbroken when they discovered that Oz was just a kind old man from Omaha. He had no magic powers at all. However, the little man was clever and knew how to use people's belief. He realized that the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, and the Lion already possessed the very things they wished for. First, he took the Scarecrow. He cut a small hole in his head and stuffed it with pins and needles. "Now you have a brand new, sharp brain," Oz proclaimed. The Scarecrow felt immediately wiser and happier. Next, Oz took the Tin Woodman. He cut a square hole in the Tin Woodman's chest and placed a beautiful silk heart stuffed with sawdust inside. "You have a tender heart," Oz said. The Tin Woodman wept tears of joy. Finally, Oz took the Cowardly Lion. He mixed a green liquid in a bowl. "This is the courage you seek," Oz announced. The lion drank it all and instantly felt brave and bold. He realized he had been brave all along, just afraid of his own feelings. The friends' wishes had been granted, not by magic, but by their own belief and Oz's clever trickery. The journey home. Oz had promised to help Dorothy return to Kansas. He decided to build a new balloon and travel with Dorothy, as he was also tired of being a great wizard. The friends said a sad goodbye. The Scarecrow would rule the Emerald City, the Tin Woodman would rule the Winkies, and the Lion would rule the forest. Dorothy and Oz took off in a new balloon. But a strong gust of wind broke the rope, and the balloon flew away with only Oz inside. Dorothy was left behind, despairing. The Good Witch of the North appeared. She told Dorothy the final great secret. The magic silver shoes you wear can take you anywhere in the world. You have always possessed the power to go home. Dorothy was overwhelmed with happiness. She hugged her friends one last time. She clicked her heels together 3 times and wished, "Take me home to Aunt Em." With a sound like the rush of wind, Dorothy flew through the air. The silver shoes fell off somewhere high above the clouds. The next moment, Dorothy was standing back in gray Kansas. Aunt Em was running toward her, crying with relief. Dorothy had returned, and though she no longer had the silver shoes, she had Toto, and she had learned that there is truly no place like home.